What's going on, y'all? It is Derek J407, aka Best Heel Ever, and I am here to give you my thoughts on this week's episode of Lucha Underground. I don't even what are we up to, like episode 11 now. Um, I haven't been keeping track. I'm pretty sure we're at episode 11. But regardless, I missed last week's episode because I was in Dallas for WrestleMania weekend. Usually I watch Lucha Underground Thursday, Friday, something like that. Usually, if it's on Friday, it's probably, right before I go to work. Maybe on my commute either to or coming from work. But I wasn't at work this past weekend. I haven't been at work all week. I gotta go back Monday though, and that sucks. But yeah, I missed last week, so I missed seeing Matanza kill Pentagon Jr. But that was just one sacrifice. I'm pretty sure later on down the road, Pentagon will make his triumphant return. He will rise up, and it'll either be him versus Matanza straight up, or they'll somehow get it to where it's Vampiro and Pentagon against Matanza and Dario Cueto. But that's later down the line. We're talking about this episode. So this episode, we started off. It was a recap of last week, so that's how I knew what happened. Well, I saw the pictures and all that kind of stuff on Twitter too, but still, it was a recap of what happened last week. But we really start off in a bathroom. It's Vampiro looking at himself in a restroom, holding his pills, his meds, and in walks Dario Cueto, who basically warns him, saying like, I know that you would like nothing more to, just tear my head off and then go after Matanza and all that kind of stuff. But, if you're smart, you won't lay a hand on me, or else, what happened to Pentagon will basically, because Pentagon, he's alive, Fortunately, he's alive, but, if you put your hands on me, then once Matanza gets hands on you, you might not be so lucky. And he Cueto tells him that he's very valuable and that he wants him on commentary, especially for the main event. And basically walks off after that. Vamp takes his pills, and that's pretty much the end of that. So yeah, that was that. So yeah, like I said, building up tension right there, and I'm anxious to see where this goes. Then we switch over to the police office. Remember that? Remember that story? So the captain, she's talking to Officer Reyes and Officer Meehan, who is Cortez Castro, and Joey Ryan. She tells them that I see Dario Cueto's back, and you guys gotta get close to him, all that kind of stuff. Joey Ryan was saying how he talked to Cueto, and seems like he likes him. And that he was placed in the trios tournament. Tonight was the beginning of the trios tournament, and he said that his partners will be Cortez Castro and Cisco. And Castro tells him it's Mr. Cisco. And the captain, she tells them that whatever it takes to get closer to Dario Cueto, you do it, and if that means winning the trios championships, then that's what you got to do. So they left, and she pinned his picture to the wall, and that was that. The first match on the show, by the way, it's good to see the band back. I saw that last week. They have a band. Well, it's not the same band, but we have bands back. So that's cool to see. I'm not going to say their name because I can't pronounce it. So the first match was Cobra Moon against Ivelisse, 1/3 of the Trios champions. Ivelisse was rocking some really unique attire here, some very unique tights. I don't, like, it looked kind of chain link kind of thing, it looked cool. She looked hot, like she always does. The match was all right. I've seen worse. Definitely wasn't the best women's match I've seen this week, but yeah, it was okay. Ivelisse won in the end with a sunset flip or code red, whatever you want to call it. But basically, she won. Like I said, it was an alright match. So that was that. Then we had a vignette of Killshot, showed him as as a sniper. I think he said he had like 37 confirmed kills, and he was told that they were all bad guys and all that kind of stuff. And then he went on some kind of mission. He took out as many people as he could, but his brothers, the guys he was on the mission with, they ain't really come out alive or something like that. But now he fights this new fight. He does all this stuff, and I was just wondering, how does shooting and all that kind of stuff, that's impressive and all, but how does that transition him over to being a pro wrestler and doing all the high flying shit that Killshot does? But let's not let that get in the way of a good story. So it's good to see they put some emphasis on Killshot. We don't see enough of Killshot this season. Hopefully later on, whether it's later on this season or even next season, he's highlighted a little bit more. We get a little more focus on Killshot because he's damn impressive. And then we went into the backstage area, the gym portion of it or whatever. Masquerita Sagrada, he was sitting at one of the barbells or something like that, and then Famous B came up to him, gave him his card, told him to call him at 423-GET-FAME. Like I said before, I'll call the number. It's accurate. You leave a message for Famous B pretty much. The time I called it, it was accurate. I don't know if maybe he's been getting trolled and it don't work anymore, but when I called it, it worked. But anyway, we don't even transition to a different scene. We just pan over and we see Sexy Star. She's lifting a weight. I don't know how much he benches, but whatever. Then the Mac came in. He told her that he was being forced to team up with he was being forced to team up in the trios tournament starting tonight. He was being forced to team with Marty the Moth and his sister Mariposa. She debuted a few weeks ago, and he wanted her. That means Sexy Star out there in his corner for moral support, but she was too afraid. He told her that I hope you get your revenge at some point, or he said the two of them, Marty and Mariposa, they're gonna get what's coming to them, and he said he hopes that she'll be the one to collect on that, and that was pretty much that. And so we get to the match. It's Mariposa, Marty the Moth, and the Mac against Cortez Castro, Mr. Cisco. Let's not make Castro mad, and Joey Ryan. This turned out to be a really fun match. I was just kind of, sitting there just watching it, and it turned out to be really fun. The Mac and Mr. Cisco, they had like an exchange in the beginning, and all of a sudden, Mr. Cisco and Cortez Castro, they're these over baby faces among the believers in the crowd. That's what you do when you turn your back on Chavo Guerrero. He ain't shit. So you turn away from him, and you see all the benefits that come from it. So there was a lot of great action going on in this match. It was really going rapid speed. At least among the fans, the believers, Mr. Cisco. I gotta keep saying Mr. Cisco. He was like basically the most popular in this match. Got a lot of chants, doing a lot of crazy moves. Mariposa, this is the first time I've actually seen her wrestle, and she was all right. Marty the Moth, the creepy bastard. He was people say that's ripping off Christian in WWE. No, Christian was a CLB, a creepy little bastard. Marty the Moth is just simply a creepy bastard, mainly because he's about a foot taller than Christian and about 100 pounds heavier. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but not that much. But anyway, shit just got crazy. At one point, everybody was on the outside. Well, almost everybody. In the Mac, he was about to dive over the rope, but then Mariposa was on the apron, basically preventing him from doing so. He gave her like a little nudge with his foot right in the, like he didn't kick her or anything like that, but he kind of like nudged her in the foot with his foot in her gut, and she fell backwards, and then he did his dive over the rope and all that kind of stuff. Then it came down to him and Joey Ryan. Joey Ryan kind of tagged himself in, and then the Mac was in there, and then Marty, he tagged himself in, and then they just him and the Mac, they just started slapping each other in the chest until finally the Mac just said, "Fuck you," and literally he said "fuck you" and gave him a stunner. Apparently, he thinks he's the Black Stone Cold, which is funny because he sounds like a he sounds like Mark Henry. His voice is like Mark Henry, yet he does the Stone Cold Stunner. He flicks him off and then performs the stunner. And then Castro and Cisco, Mr. Cisco, I'm sorry, uh, I'm sorry, him and Cisco, they performed their finishing move, and then Joey Ryan, he was already tagged in. He kind of snuck in, got the got the win for his team, and the three of them move on in this trios tournament. I assume the winners of the tournament will become the number one contenders for the trios titles. That's just what I assume. Afterwards, Mariposa started to beat up the Mac until Sexy Star came in. She saved him. And then she started to beat up Mariposa. So, Sexy Star getting her revenge here. Marty the Moth, he eventually pulled her out. And we got a face-off between these four people. So, I'm assuming a tag team match is being built up here. You know, I don't know if they're going to save that for Ultima Lucha. It might even happen next week. I don't know. A lot of matches that I feel like will be saved up, are being blown off pretty quickly. I don't know when the season finale is coming, but whatever. It was all cool here. Then we had a scene on, I guess, the roof of the building. It was Dragon Azteca Jr. and Rey Mysterio was talking to him, telling him that, eventually you're going to have to kill Matanza. He just flat out said, like, you have to kill him, but, not yet. Your time's not there yet. You got to fight with honor and not revenge so far. And then Ray told him that you and I were in the trios tournament, and then he revealed that the partner is Prince Puma. Prince Puma got the chance to talk. Like, Dragon Azteca asked, like, who is our partner? And then Prince Puma came in all dramatically, and he said, me. And he finally talked. He's not mute after all. He can talk. So he talked here, and so the three of them will be a team next week. And finally, the main event on this show, it was Phoenix versus Matanza, I guess for the title. It didn't matter. We knew Phoenix was about to get killed, which is what happened. Matt, he had some, bright spots every now and again, but for the most part, he basically got killed. And after the match, he started to beat him up some more until we see Katrina up on, like, the top, not the ramp, but, like, at the top of the staircase, among the believers, and she held up that rock. And then from behind came Mil Muertes. He started to attack Matanza and knocked him over the rope. He didn't knock him on his ass or anything, but he landed on his feet. But I assume that that's the next big feud for him. Mil Muertes, he's the resident big guy, the badass. So in order to get Matanza over, he got to go through Mil Muertes. So I'm looking forward to that match. I don't know when we're going to get it, but it should be good. There was a brief stare down between Mil and Phoenix, and then we went off the air with Phoenix looking up at Katrina, who was still up there. So it was an alright episode of Lucha Underground. I found it quite enjoyable. Back in the swing of things, back to normal. WrestleMania is over. It's time to move on from that. So get these reviews out, pretty regularly again. And that was about it for this episode. So I will see y'all next week, I guess.